Hi guys, I have made another video, so I won't bore you with all the details of the other video, but you should watch this one first. So I want you to know I miss all of you. I wish we were doing this in person. I'm not great at videos and I'm sorry for my voice. This is how to make a quilt square, and of course there are tons of creative options you can use to make yours different than mine. This is a basic way to make a quilt square and to start hand embroidering. You learned 3 stitches last week. You're going to put those into use in this project. I'm going to show you how to get the square made so that you can use those stitches that you learned. Okay, so the things you're going to need, if you have access to all of this, are right here. I'm going to turn my light around and fix this. Okay, you're going to need a 10-inch square, 10 inches, all 4 sides, of whatever fabric you want to be the background of your quilt square. Now, you're also going to need some other fabrics to put on top. Now, the process of placing them on top is called applique, and you would typically use something called Wonder Under or Heat Bond. It's like a fusible webbing that you would iron on to one piece on the back. Then you would turn it over. You'd peel the thing off, turn it over, and iron it down again onto your background piece of fabric. And that would be called applique. And then you would embroider around the edges to secure it. But I know that times are different right now, and I want to show you another option. These are little glue, clear glue scrapbooking tools. They just leave a little runner of clear glue. I think it worked. Hang on. Sometimes it's kind of hard to get it to work on fabric. There we go. Okay, so it just leaves a little clear glue. It's not a thick double-sided tape of any kind. It's just a little clear bit of glue. And look, it held it together. That just holds it in place long enough for you to get your sewing done. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use just enough of this to hold it in place to do my embroidery. We're going to hand do this quilt, and then the next lesson you learn is how to use a machine to sew. But I want you to learn to hand embroider because some things you just can't do with a machine. Now, you're going to decide how to put your fabric onto your quilt square. This is just how I'm doing mine, and I'd like to keep my video short, so I'm not going to give you a lot of details. But use an iron to press your fabric and turn the ends under so that you have nice ends. See, now I've joined those, a little bit more. I've joined these together now so that I can move it around and I can do my stitching and it doesn't fall apart. Now, I like this little guy here. I don't know, though, how I want to put him. See, I have options. I could put him like that. And then I might want to just embroider around the edges. Or I could put him like this and embroider around the edges. And some of you are screaming, no, the other way. And some of you are screaming, no, that way. So I'm just going to do it like this. And put him right there. Now remember to leave a seam allowance. So you're going to want about a 1/2 inch on all 4 sides that you're going to use when sewing your quilt square to another quilt square to make a quilt. So you're going to want to leave a 1/2 inch seam allowance. Cut little threads off. You need really sharp scissors to sew with. Okay. And you know what? So because of my seam allowance, it's a little too close to the edge. I'm going to peel this back off and move it over a little bit. Because I'm going to leave that seam allowance and I'm going to want there to still be a space. So you have to pretend that your piece ends right there. Okay. Once you get it like that. Now, this is an option that makes things a little easier. It's not necessary. This is a quilting hoop or an embroidery hoop. You would put the inside, you snap, see, there's this little screw here. You undo it to where it's loose enough. You take the inside out. You put the inside underneath where you're wanting to hand embroider. And then you're going to lay, with it loose, you're going to lay the outside over that. And it makes it nice and tight like a drum. You can tighten it if you need to. And then when you actually do your stitches, your stuff stays nice and tight. So that is how you make a quilt square. You're going to do your stitches around all of your seams. And you've got your 3 stitches that you learned last week that you can play with, but please use more. Be creative. Look up more stitches. Make up your own stitches. Just whatever you do, keep your lines looking nice and neat. Keep your messy stuff at the back. And let's see what you got. Bye, guys.